And so in this show, as you guys know, I'm very passionate about making sure that you understand that freedom lives within. This is your birthright. You deserve to live an abundant life. You deserve to be free. You deserve to live a life that God has given you before you were even born. So I think it's very important that we work together in this show and we grow together so that you can become the person that you know that God called you to be. So we're going to give us some time to get some people onto the show. As we're waiting right now, as you guys know, the Jake Taylor Show is on Salt Radio, Servants Altering Life Through Truth. If you want to be able to listen to the Salt Radio Network and listen to this show at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday, you can download on Radio Army, or go to salt.org, SALTT.org, and you can also download TuneIn. You can also download Shoutcast to be able to download any of those apps, or you can just download our app on Salt Radio in the App Store, and you can be able to listen to this show live at 7 o'clock. Actually, I just thought I was going to try to be cool and add that, but you can listen to this show so that you can be able to help escort you and your family to the destination that God has already ordained for you to have. Guys, let me tell you something. Just in case you guys don't know, as we kind of get this show kind of going, just in case you guys don't know, freedom is not something you earn. Freedom is something that God's already given you. This is not something that you have to be a good girl or a good boy to be able to enjoy the festivities of freedom, right? Freedom is something that has already been given to us. It's our birthright. We're talking about emotional freedom. We're talking about freedom to be able to be in relationships that God ordains. We're talking about being able to live a life of financial freedom, free from stress. And in this show, we pin extremely hard. We point out more than anything. We talk about business. We talk about faith. We talk about family. But the most important thing that we talk about is finances, because there's over 2,600 scriptures in the Bible that talks about stewardship, money, and possessions. It's the truth. And so there is something that's there that's important for us to understand so that we can be able to have a little piece of heaven on earth. He didn't put you here for you to be tortured. He didn't put you here for you to hate your life every day that you're here. And when you begin to understand that, your mind will begin to shift. And only when your mind shifts will you be able to be open to seeing that God has already made this your show. You just have to decide that you want to live in it and you create the life that you want. Guys, yesterday's show was absolutely amazing. You know, we got crazy response. We had people go on site and buy the book, We Are Sick, Surviving Financial Cancer, on survivingfinancialcancer.com. We literally had people tune in from Facebook. Now we have Instagram going. We have, the radio show. We have that platform going, and people are literally tuning in, and they're loving to hear the information that we have to share on the show. And it's not because what I'm sharing is something new. It's just because we're just sharing it in another way. Another way for you to kind of understand that when it comes to living this life that we live, let me just put some things into perspective before we get into the show. You know, the average person only has 900 months on average to live. 900 months. And when you think about that, that's just 75 years. So we can think about it in a couple of ways. When I think about time, a lot of us think that we have all this time to make up for our mistakes. We have all this time to kind of get our life back right. We have all this time to not live the life that God calls us to live. We have all this time to bounce back from financial strains and problems. We have all this time to build a legacy for our family and for our friends. But the truth is, you don't have a lot of time. And when you begin to think about it, let's think about it for a second. If the average person, God only promised us 70 years. But let's say the average person in America is living to 75, 78, okay? That's only 900 months. But I'll break it down to you. let's just say 75 to keep it even. Let's keep it basic, right? So we're talking about 75. Think about this. A lot of us think, man, we got all these years to live this life for God to be able to work into us. We got all this time to catch up to the mistakes that we made. We got all this time. I'll get my finances together later. I'll worry about family and legacy later. I'll worry about my faith and my spiritual walk with God later. I'll worry about that stuff later. But the truth is, there's not really later when you think about it. 75, let's put things into perspective. 75 is just 70 times around the sun. 75 is just 75 times you get to enjoy summer. 75 times you get to enjoy spring. Not years. We got to put it in times. You got 75 times that somebody's going to sing you happy birthday. You have 75 times for you to be able to complain about summer heat. You have 75 times for you to complain about spring. You only have 75 times to complain about cold winter. You only have 75 times to enjoy these things that happen annually in our lives. So when you think about it, I want you to ask yourself a question. Think about your age and you subtract how many times you have left to enjoy these things that we have. And what you realize, you don't have that much time. You don't have as much time as you think that you do. You're limited on your time, just like you're limited on resources here on this earth. So what we have to do, we have to learn how to compress all of the time, all the efforts that we have in the shortest amount of time so we can live this life that we're called to live. And so we're going to talk about some stuff, but I can't keep going on without bringing back up some of the things that you guys talked about. And some of you guys wanted me to reiterate when I talked about there are two ways that you gain freedom in this world. And we were talking about this week's topic is running your house like a business. Running your home like a business. You want to learn how to operate your home as if it's your family's empire, as if it's a legacy, something that you guys are collectively moving as a unit toward, a goal that you're trying to reach. And a lot of you guys had questions about the video that I put out. There are two ways that you gain freedom in this world, and it is true. We talked about the two ways. One being you had to die in order for you to be able to go achieve freedom. When death means you're not bound to any more earthly rules. You can flow and go wherever you want. You probably don't have to pay for food anymore because you're not of this earth anymore. Or two, you have to buy your freedom. And I use the examples of a slave. There are two ways a slave can be free. The first way a slave typically becomes free is they die. When they die, they go to heaven or wherever they go, but they're no longer bound by earthly rules. So if they wanted to be free, you can literally kill yourself and you're free as much as you need to be. Or the second route, which is most of us don't want to die. So the second route is you have to buy your freedom. So when you think about it in terms of slavery is, in order for me to go from one master to the next, in order for me to get to a place to where I can walk away from this plantation that I'm on, essentially, there's a certain amount of money that's required, that's considered my worth to be able to walk away from this plantation. There was a point in time back in the day when the nice masters used to tell the slaves, you give me 30, 40, 50 years, you work really hard, then I'll let you be free. And so that was called indentured slavery. Or an indentured servant, which is somebody who gave a specific amount of time. They got paid little, but their work was able to allow them to be able to walk away from freedom. It's kind of like how retirement is thought of today. But when we think about it, it was literally, just imagine if you were, let's say for an example, you were a slave. And the master came up to you and said, listen, Ellen, you have, if you can save up $50,000, I will give you your freedom. I'm going to give you $10 a day. When you get to $50,000, you are now free to go do whatever you want. How many of you guys would save every penny that you have to ensure that you come up with that $50,000 that you need in order for you to be free? A lot of people would. Ellen's raising her hand in the studio right now. She's like, absolutely, I would. But the problem is, Ellen, most of us don't realize when it comes to buying our freedom today, it's the same exact thing. See, a lot of us, 90% of Americans are working jobs that they don't like. 90% of Americans are working jobs that they actually dislike. 76% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So a lot of us are barely getting by working jobs that we hate. It's kind of like being enslaved to something that you feel like you're not called to do. You're just there to work a job just to survive. And so when we talked about buying your freedom, there's a certain amount of money that you need to have saved in order for you to be able to buy your freedom. Let's talk about what freedom is. Freedom is freedom of choice. To be and live wherever I want to live, to go where I want to go when I choose. If you cannot do that, you are not free. If every time you wake up and your phone is buzzing with bill collectors calling, that means that you're not free. Free is you can look at your phone all day and all night and not have to worry about one bill collector calling you because you owe no one. That is free. But a lot of us are bound down by the debt that we put ourselves in, the shackles, financial shackles that we put ourselves in called debt. What that debt has done, it has forced us to go work and give our time away, our most precious resource on earth. We give our time away, spending time and working in careers that do not serve us, and it's all because we're trying to pay down a debt that we shouldn't have in the first place. And so what happens is when it comes to buying my freedom, the question is, how much debt do I have? And how much money do I need to have saved that can literally sustain my current standard of living if I were to stop working today? That is the question. And whatever that number is, say you have $60,000 that you have saved, that you need to pay to get out of debt. So of course, you need to buy your debt. You got $60,000 that you have to buy down. You're buying your freedom from the people that you owe. Once you pay down that, now you no longer owe anybody. However, you still have to work in order to sustain your current standard of living. So now you need to save money in order to do it. So that's what I meant by either you have to die or you have to buy your way out of debt and buy your way into freedom, because there's no other way. There's no way you can do it. And when you kind of think of it in a drastic matter like that, you think of it kind of in that context, you'll realize, you know what, Jake, you're right. It's not necessarily about being an entrepreneur. It's about being free, not having to feel like I have to go to work. How many of you guys, let's be honest, right? When it comes to Monday, let's talk Monday. Monday is the highest day. You guys can look up the statistic. When it comes to heart attacks are had, if you were to pick a day, Monday through Sunday, there are more heart attacks on Mondays than any other day in a week. Why is that? Well, let's go down the timeline. Monday is the first day of the week. And so now you're frustrated, you're upset, you pretty much, you're in your emotion bag on Monday. Tuesday, it's like, okay, here comes Tuesday. Tuesday is like, okay, the week is time starting to get going, but you kind of getting in the groove of the week. Wednesday is hump day, so now you're kind of excited. You're excited. You're going now. You're having a good time. Why? Because the rest of the week is almost done. Thursday is the longest day of the week. And you feel like it would never come to Friday. Then when Friday comes, nothing in life can mess up your day. When Saturday comes, you're in your zone, you're in your bag, you living your best life. Sunday comes, you're only happy for a little bit of the day. Why? Because the second part of the day, you know that Monday's coming again. And so you're doing this cycle over and over again, realizing that if ever you are working and you're counting the days and you're paying attention to the days of the week, you probably are not living or working in the career that you actually enjoy doing. Because when I work in this career that I'm in, I forget the days. Is it Monday or Tuesday? Why? Because I'm living in my work, not a job. I'm working. And work and job are two different things, but that's for another day. And so that's what I'm talking about. You want to learn how to buy your freedom so you are no longer stressed about the days. Guys, come on. If you're stressed on a day because you know a day is coming, you already know you're probably not free. So you want to make sure that you do that. And if you absolutely love your job, like I mentioned before on the past show, if you love your job, you at least want to save up money so that you're not there because of the money anymore. You can literally be there because you have a choice. And so many of us are literally bogged down with responsibilities of a job that you don't like because you feel like you have to pay bills and you have to buy debt on cars that you can't afford, on a house that you shouldn't have gotten. And you got bills and debt that you shouldn't have gotten, put yourself in, but why? But because you want to live outside your means, and because you want to continue to be a slave to finances and burdens and debt and mortgage people. Everybody else is pulling from your account but you. And so that's what I meant in the last show when we were talking about buying you either die or you buy your way when it comes to freedom. So I think it's very important that we understand that when it comes to running your household like a business, because when you know exactly what you need to do, you get a different focus. Your mind kind of gets clear. You wake up every day, you know what you're doing. And we talked about, your sacrifices are no longer sacrifices. They're down payments on your future. When you know for a fact, I know that I need $1 million to be financially free. That means all my debt is paid and I can leave this daggone job and I never have to think about it ever again. So now when you're putting money up and you're storing it and you're saving it, it's outside of the mind, because it's for me to buy my freedom days, the day that I want to actually be free. And so that's what's most important. That's what I want you guys to understand when it comes to freedom, when it comes to retirement. Retirement is just some weird word that they created. Nobody ever retires, right? You typically leave your job to go and work in the career field that you feel like God called you to live, or you start, painting. If you're a painter, all of a sudden you like to paint. You're painting all day and you're going to do things that you used to consider a hobby, but now you're doing it because you love to do it. Well, the truth is that's always been inside of you, but because you waited till you retired to do it, that's why retirement's a big thing. So we'll talk about that on another day. But that is what the last show was about. That is what I was talking about when I was saying, you either have to die or you have to buy your freedom. That's the only two ways that you can gain freedom. And so in today's show, we're going to talk about options. And so when it comes to running your house like a business, you have to understand when it comes to a businessman or a businesswoman, having options is extremely important. I'll give you an example. Anytime that we're looking for event space, or anytime we're looking for products, anytime we're looking for any type of equipment for my business, the very first thing I always tell whoever's taking lead of that project, I tell them, bring me back 3 quotes from 3 different companies. Why? Because I need options. I don't like to be put in a box and you only give me one price and one set, because I don't know how to leverage one versus the other. Jake, what do you mean? I mean, stop making big financial decisions only on one option because you're too lazy to weigh out options. What do you mean by that? Okay, Jay, let's get to it. Let's talk about retirement, right? Options, right? Most of us, we have no idea how many other options we have out there for us to be able to store our money. One of the biggest things that I feel like when it comes to retirement, and of course I'm in the financial services industry, so this is going to be a fun topic to talk about. Let's talk about this word retirement. Then we have these 401ks, these IRAs, these Roths, and all this stuff that these people tell us to put our money into. But I don't think, for common sense, if I'm investing my money for this quote unquote retirement account, and mind you, we're talking about options. And I went to a job and they told me I had to get into a 401k. So I get inside of a 401k. Why? Because that's what I was given and I had to look up any options. And then they sent me some financial advisor that came to the office because that's the company that they use. And then I'm talking to this one financial advisor to look over my accounts, and they only give me one thing that they recommend. And so now I spent 30 years putting money into an account that I have no idea the interest, no idea the fees that are coming out of the account, nothing. Because I'm not looking at options. The only thing I'm looking at is the fact that I have this one, and I'm too lazy to look at anything else because it's like out of sight, out of mind. Remember we talked about yesterday, currency is just current. It runs consistently. So if I'm not paying attention to it, it's going to go wherever the heck it wants to go. So when we're talking about retirement, it doesn't make sense to me. For me, using my money to store my money somewhere, and I can't touch it until I'm 59. Jake, what do you mean? Well, in your 401k and other quote-unquote qualified plans, talking about having options. In my 401k and quote-unquote qualified plans, when I begin to put money into my account, I can't touch my money until I'm 59 and a half. So I'm storing my money into an account that I can't touch. And then if I touch my money, I get penalized for touching my money. And let's say I do turn 59 and a half, at 71 and a half, now they penalize me if I don't take my money out soon enough. So let me ask you a question. If anybody can penalize you for touching your money that you say that you worked hard for before you turn 59 and a half, whose money is it? Is it yours or the account that you put it in? So what happens is the government and these companies, they created this freaking product called the 401k, and I store my retirement money into it, and I can't touch my money for 59 and a half, but they can touch my money all the way up until the point. We're talking about having options. But because I'm lazy, or I don't know, and I don't weigh my options, I don't know that there are financial products out there that where I can put money into it and my money grows tax-free. I can pull it out tax-free, and I can pull it when I want, whenever I want, without any penalties. Is there an account out there, there's a financial product out there that my company actually offers where you get up to 15% on the interest of your money into that account. And it literally gives you tax-free gains. You can pull it out tax-free. You can use it whenever you want, and it gains up to 15% interest. But if you don't know your options, you're just going to put your money into places that you shouldn't be putting your money into, guys. We're talking about having options. So when it comes to running your household like a business, you have to understand cash flow is the number one asset that you need. Why? Because when you have cash flow, you can make financial decisions that can be able to help build and accelerate your legacy, your empire that you're building. That's why you need cash flow. If I'm locking up my money inside of a financial instrument, a financial product, and I can't touch it for 30 years, what happens if you have $300,000 in your 401k and you find an investment, a business venture that you can go on, and you see the potential? If you were to invest $100,000 into this business venture, it can make you $1 million. You can't even touch the money that you have saved because it's locked up in this financial product that the government is using, that these financial institutions are using your money. However, when it comes to you using your money, you can't even position your empire to be able to move in the way it needs to so that you can be able to grow your legacy, because your money is locked up in some freaking product that some financial institution is making money off of, and you're not making a dime off of, Jake. Okay, Jake. Well, with my qualified plan, I have a tax-free benefit. I have tax deferred. You say, Jake, I have tax deferred. When I put my money into this account, it goes tax deferred. The government doesn't take taxes out of my account, and I see, okay, let me ask you something. What makes more sense? If I had a bag of apple seeds, if you had a bag of apple seeds, would you rather me put my hand into the bag of apple seeds, and whatever I take out with my fistful, that's what's considered the taxes I take out on your bag of seeds? Or would you rather me wait until you plant the seeds, water the seeds, grow these apple trees, and then me tax you on every apple on every tree? Which would you rather? Would you rather me put my hand inside this bag of apple seeds, and whatever I take out, that's my taxes? Or would you rather me wait until you planted all the seeds, grew all the apple trees, you did all the work, and then at the end, I tax you on every apple on every tree? Which one would you want? And the truth would be, you would probably want the first one. Just put your hand in this bag, whatever you get is what you take. And whatever I get at the end, that's all mine. Guys, that's what you're doing when you're putting your money in retirement vehicles, quote-unquote retirement vehicles that lock up your money. Just because they give you tax deferred does not mean it's the best thing for you. Because it's tax deferred, it just simply means they're going to take more money out. Think about it. They can either take 15% off of $100, or they can take 15% off of $100,000. Which one you think that they will prefer? Of course, they would rather you grow your money to $100,000, so they can take 15% off $100,000 versus 15% off the $100 you're putting in. Guys, it's almost common sense, but when you don't know that you need to have options when you're running your household like a business, you know that control is important. You want to put your money, you want to be able to make decisions so that you're in control of your finances 100% all the way through. Options are important. Let's talk about options. We're talking about options, having options like car insurance. Some of you guys just pick one car insurance company because your husband or your wife been with that car insurance company for 10, 20 years, and it's just easy just to pop your name on there, and it's out of sight, out of mind. When you don't know that there are other companies, if you were to do your due diligence, that can give you the same coverage, the same customer service, the same everything, and you could probably save $200-300 a month on your car insurance if you just took time to shop around. Why? Because options are important. When you weigh out your options, you save yourself tons of money and mistakes that we make on our money. We're talking about options. Just like some of you ladies go couponing because you like to have options, you spend more time couponing than you do actually managing the resources that you do have with every other thing in your life, right? So when it comes to your money, whoever pay, you can't expect what you don't inspect. So if I'm expecting my money to be great and expecting God to be abundant in my life, and I'm expecting, God to do phenomenal things financially, but I'm not inspecting every aspect of my financial portfolio, how can I expect greatness and I'm not inspecting to make sure it's great? It's kind of like me wanting my daughter to be disciplined, and I want her to be mannerable, I want her to be respectful, but I never train her. But I want her to be this upstanding citizen. But I never spend time training and molding her how to be an upstanding citizen. So if you want to make sure that your money is doing the right thing, you got to manage it. You have to manage it. And so having options are important. The other option I want to talk about, let's talk about healthcare. The number one reason for bankruptcy is actually healthcare. Healthcare is the number one cause for bankruptcy in America. And Harvard University did a study that 78% of the people who file for bankruptcies actually have insurance. So I know some of you guys are like, healthcare, well, I got insurance, so I'll be good. No. Think about it. Let's think about it. In 2008, the average family was spending $393 for health insurance. Today, in 2017, the average family is spending $1,018 a month for health insurance, with an average deductible of $10,000 to $15,000 for their average deductible for the family. So, Jake, you're telling me that the average family is spending $1,000 a month for health care to have access to a doctor. Yeah. But you know what? Most of us don't weigh out our options. So what do? We go to the did I fix the camera? Did I mess up the camera? The camera good? Dang, the camera? I think I kicked it. Is the camera good? Okay. So what happens, we go to our job, we get our little job, and, the job offers us benefits, and we just take those benefits as gold. And we never compare the benefits to other options. Mm-hmm. So we stick ourselves into these benefits, and we're paying these high costs and health costs, and not knowing that there are other options out there for you. And so let's just talk about healthcare in itself. Healthcare is a big problem in America today. Everybody knows it's a rising high cost of healthcare. So this is what happens when it comes to healthcare. And excuse me, guys, for my frankness when it comes to this, but this is the truth. Okay. For the families that are standard, they take care of their bodies for the most part. They go to their, healthcare providers regularly. They're eating responsibly. They're taking care of their bodies. What happens is the reason why every family is spending so much on healthcare is because there are families out there that don't take care of their bodies at all. They don't eat right. They're negligent of their body. They don't, do what they're supposed to do when it comes to taking care of their health. And when it comes to them having health problems, it's almost always too late. Now you're leaning on healthcare to be able to take care of health expenses for you. Thus, what's happening is making the healthcare expenses rise. So when people don't take care of their health, it makes the healthcare expenses rise because there are a lot more people pulling out claims. When you have more people pulling out claims, it makes the premiums for the pool of money that the insurance company is using, it makes those premiums go up. So when you know that, you want to be able to find options out there that can be able to mitigate the high cost of insurance. Why? Why do we want health insurance? You want health insurance to have access to a doctor, right? Yes. Okay, so I want health insurance to have access to a doctor. Good. I also want health insurance so that if there's a problem that comes up, they can help me pay for the cost of the medical bills, the surgeries, and all those things, right? So you want to have access to a doctor, and you want them to be able to help pay the cost. And so when it comes to not having options and not knowing options, there are a bunch of people that don't know that there's a healthcare product out there that functions just like health insurance. It's called a health share. And with this health share, the average family of 5 spends about $300 to $600 a month on health care for everyone. And the member responsibility amount is only $2,750, for the plan I'm talking about, which the member responsibility amount is much like a deductible. So the average family deductible is like $8,000 to $15,000. This average family on a health plan like this is only $2,750. Once they pay up to that member responsibility amount of $2,750, this healthcare provider covers their health expenses 100%. No 80-20 on the back end, no 70-30. They cover your healthcare expenses 100%. So, Jake, what do you mean? Well, I'm meaning people that weigh their options, they'll find out that they can literally save themselves anywhere from $500 to $700 a month on healthcare expenses that they pay monthly just because they're opting into something called a health share. So, Jake, what's a health share? A health share is a health care company that functions just like health insurance. However, it's faith-based ministry. It's a faith-based nonprofit ministry, and it functions just like health insurance. However, there are higher stipulations to get inside of the health share. So you have to make sure that you're pledging to take care of your body, to be proactive with your health, to eat healthy, to not have too much of anything, to not drink alcohol, to not drink a bunch of alcohol, to not smoke, to not have babies out of wedlock. This is a faith-based company. So if you're able to live by these statement of standards that say that I will take care of my body, you're able to get accepted into this health share, and you're literally saving yourself, $500, $600, $700 a month. Now you have that extra money that you have. Now you can use it to maybe buy down debt, maybe invest into something so that you have more money to use. And so when it comes to that, that's what we're talking about, having options. Having options is absolutely important, because when you think about weighing options, you stop taking what people give you and you start looking for the best option for your family. There's no one-size-fit-all to your financial fitness. There's no one-size-fit-all to your legacy building. There's no one-size-fit-all to empire building. But what there are options out there available for you if you learn how to look and navigate that. And I'm able to teach you how to do that in the book, We Are Sick, Surviving Financial Cancer. You can get this book, survivingfinancialcancer.com, where we're able to help you, teach you how to put game plans in place so that you can be able to save money everywhere that you can by just weighing out your options. There are people that don't understand that your ignorance is costing you a fortune. If you learn how to weigh out your options and look for other options, alternatives to the products and services that you have, what you will find is that you have a lot more money at the end of the month. And so for those of you guys that are tuning in right now, that are on Salt Radio, that's going to conclude this segment of this show right now. For those of you guys that are on Facebook, stay tuned as you guys are watching this show live as we were going to record the very next show. For those of you that are listening to Salt Radio, I hope and I pray that you come on to the next show, because we're going to continue this conversation talking about options and running your household like a business. Guys, this is Jake Taylor, your freedom coach on the Jake Taylor Show, and I'll see you at the top because the bottom's way too crowded. See you on the next show.